granted that I get to see the brushstrokes, and so to be able to kind of give you at least a taste of that is pretty rad.
So yeah, so you had mentioned about this gold thing. So at first I didn't know what this was even going to be called, and then that's where these words came in. And then the words were just kind of sitting there and they didn't really blend in. And so I came up with this kind of gold streak here.
Which is actually an oil stick.
Splatter, yep. And then some gold splatter there, and created this little thing to kind of just give it a graphic element that ties it all together. But what I love about these is when you can look at them up close and see the detail and the different
color, all the
colors
layers
that
of
are in
color.
There.
Now, the thing that's very interesting about the little
there.
Whiskers, people are talking about the Whiskers, and honestly, those are so cute, aren't they? They really, a lot of detail went into that. But this line, let's go back to that gold swirly, because you had one shot at that.
Yep.
And there's no erasing it. So you did do it on an iPad first, correct?
I did. I took a picture of the whole painting, and then I kind of played around with some different lines to get the general, what did I want it to look like. But once you go to canvas, it's a little bit trickier.
Where I am going to call you the GOAT, because let's be honest, anyone holding that gold pen, that oil, what is it even called? A gold oil
stick. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I've seen these things, you guys. You get one shot. There's nothing forgiving about it. And let's also realize that this is the very last thing. So at that point, you've put in days and days worth, hours of time. And to be able to be like, all right, let's do this,
Yeah, this one.
Do you have nightmares
this
about
one
it?
sat in my studio for a long time, which often happens. Sometimes the paintings just come out, they flow, they're exactly how I envision them. But a lot of times I'll just have them sitting there staring at me for weeks at a time.
I know.
As I analyze, is it done? Is it not done? What does it need? And then in particular, the story behind it, like I kind of knew the concept, but it was really, it was kind of a fight. I mean, I had this actual, the monologue I just shared is exactly 1,500 words.
Oh,
and
wow.
I think I had close to 3,000. I'm like, that's too long. I need to make
what?
this better. Yeah,
you cut it in half?
Yeah. So
Stacy has a good question. Can you pop that up?
Yes.
Hello, Stacy. She says, curious, how many hours did it take to create this piece? It is so spectacular. Yes, I agree.
Thank you, Stacy.
That's a very good question.
I don't know. I didn't keep track.
It would be
dozens,
a nightmare to...
Dozens. Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's been...
It is kind of fun to look back on that video. There was green grass in the background when we were doing the shot of the thing. But obviously you don't work on the same painting all the time, with the different oil drying and things like that. So if you had to guess, would you say, 40 maybe?
Yeah, I would say maybe 40.
Yeah.
I would say, at least a dozen, if not more, on the writing of it and the story behind it and stuff too on top of it. Right? But but it was the background. Some of you mentioned the background. I know Brenda and Kara mentioned they liked the background. It's definitely a different background than what I've done in the past. I wanted it to be a little bit more playful and loose and so
now I feel like he's staring at me.
Well, what's kind of cool about this is we now have we are selling this,
the goats.
And it will be I don't have the frame in yet, but it will be framed, and the auction just went live about 20 minutes ago. If you go to escapeadulthood.com/auction, you can have a chance to bid on this painting. If it speaks to you, if you want to maybe bring it home, I'd love to have it. It comes with a certificate of authenticity signed by me. Also, one of the things we have too is a really cool payment plan for if you put 20% down, then you can pay it off in 6 months payments, interest 0% interest. Try to make it. I know like original art collecting is not for everybody. I know that. But for those of you who are kind of on the fence, like, oh my gosh, this really speaks to me, we want to try to make it as accessible as possible.
One thing I want to mention that we don't talk about very often with art collecting, we have a couple art collectors in our tribe who have vocalized to us that they are collecting Jason's art as an investment, which I really appreciate, honestly, because as you know, things go up in value every day. And except for your brand new car, right?
Go straight down.
Or maybe your house in certain markets. But for the most part, there is an increase in value, especially as someone's career changes. And I can't predict the future, but I can tell you that I would invest strongly in Jason's art. I would. That's why there are certain pieces that are not leaving our home ever, because I just see his future changing in ways that we can't imagine, and that's not in our control. But there is an opportunity to be able to say, like, oh my gosh, I have a Kotecki, and what does that mean 20 years from now? So for whatever it's worth, this is a conversation I have with some of our collectors. They're the ones telling me that, and over the years, I also know what they're talking about. So it's pretty exciting.
Yeah, of course, we cannot give investment advice, so take nothing as we say. I think
we are not financial planners.
Buy it because it means something to you, I think, is the most important investment. But yeah, I am proud to have a number of collectors who have multiple pieces. We joke with the kids that we have a couple different art galleries around the country.
Yes.
So Helen, I think, asked the size is 24 by 24 inches.
Good question.
There's something else I was going to say. That's one of the cool things about an original is that literally it's the only one that exists. So basically they're more expensive because you're buying all of those hours.
Right.
That was my life. That I spent a lot of time on that, and that's it's kind of a gift to be able to share that to people. And that's as much as we love having the artwork in our home, I also love that it can go out and spread the word.
Like Kristen Haney says she has Boss Lady on her wall. And I know we kind of had Boss Lady go around social this week with International Women's Day. That is one of my favorite pieces. And I love knowing that the original is in your house, Kristen. That is one of those things that just fits you. That is like the perfect piece of art for you. So that's the neat part for us, honestly, is see who this piece belongs to. And there's just certain times where it's kind of a surprise. You're like, right, that's pretty rad, know?
It's pretty cool. So obviously one of the other cool things that we did making this little bit of a launch is there's only one original, only one person can get it. And it's not for everyone, but we were excited to create some other stuff. And so these are on our store now. They just went live this afternoon.
I want this.
This is the goat tote. Is what
this
is.
Goat tote?
Totes.
I want to just be able to say that. Like, go get the goat tote.
The goat tote, yeah. So, of course, we do have, I forgot to bring it down here, but we have prints and canvas reproductions of the artwork. So, those are ways to
multiple sizes
to have it for yourself. But yes, we have a goat. These were all things that I designed specifically for, I thought they would fit. And we are actually talking about how it's kind of fitting these are for Mother's Day, Father's Day gifts.
Yes.
For the whole, like, you're the greatest of all time kind of thing. And so we have a throw pillow that I think turned out pretty rad here.
I love the gender neutral too, to be honest, because it just really, it just connects to whoever it's supposed to connect with. It doesn't have to be the mother or the father or whatever, right?
Right. Yeah. It's not overly masculine or overly feminine.
Yep.
There's your mug.
Cute.
Again, mom or dad bring it with some coffee or put some flowers in there. There's an instant
so cute
Mother's Day, Father's Day gift. And then a whole series of iPhone cases that we have. I'm going to be working on.
Mine's so boring.
Adding more.
I need this.
This is the hardest thing about is that they come out with new phones all the time and then they do different sizes. So we're working on getting that caught up. But we do have the goat in a lot of different different sizes. And I think one more thing. We have this little notebook, a little spiral bound notebook for your greatest ideas of all time, or greatest thoughts of all time. So Steven asked about Android cases. Those are also on the list to come. We don't have them currently, but they're on the list. So couple fun goat related things that I thought were
Yeah.
kind of fun with this artwork.
We don't have samples because he literally did this like this last week.
This
So
last week, yes.